Welcome to World Crisis YouTube channel. Powerful countries in the world have a tool they use to remove leaders of other countries. This tool is called a coup. The word coup comes from French and means to punch, cut, or forcibly remove something. In politics, this term is used when a leader of a country is forcibly removed and replaced by someone else. Coups often have many reasons and involve multiple players. Today, I will explain how, over the past 100 years, the United States has used coups to overthrow governments in different countries for its own interests. You'll also learn that the rules and laws we assume exist at the international level are often ignored by those with power, who do as they please. The first coup orchestrated by the United States took place in 1893, in Hawaii, located 3,500 miles from the U.S. mainland. The Queen of Hawaii was perceived as a threat to the American sugar industry. Years earlier, American missionaries had come to Hawaii to spread Christianity. They purchased large amounts of land and began sugar farming, exporting most of it to the U.S., while the locals earned minimal profit. The Queen drafted a constitution to impose restrictions on these sugar businessmen, alarming the owners of large sugar mills in America. Soon after, the U.S. sent its military ships to Hawaii and, with the help of a few locals, overthrew the Queen, appointing one of the Christian missionaries as the new president of Hawaii. This was the first successful coup by America, setting a precedent for future interventions. By 1895, the United States was emerging as a new superpower. Meanwhile, Spain was struggling to maintain its colonies, particularly in Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. The U.S. found the presence of the Spanish Empire near its borders unacceptable. When an American ship near Puerto Rico was destroyed, the U.S. blamed Spain, officially joining the war between Spain and the local rebels. The U.S. promised to liberate Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines in exchange for their help in defeating Spain. However, after the Spanish Empire was forced to leave, the U.S. installed puppet leaders in these countries, establishing its influence within just 8 years. In 1909, Nicaragua, known for its fertile land ideal for coffee bean cultivation, became the next target. Many American companies had invested in Nicaragua, exporting coffee beans globally. When a new president attempted to regulate these companies to prevent exploitation of natural resources, the U.S. spread propaganda against him, accusing him of building a canal similar to the Panama Canal. This led to a rebellion in Nicaragua, supported by U.S. naval ships. The rebellion succeeded, forcing the president to resign, and the U.S. installed a government of its choice. In 1911, a similar scenario unfolded in Honduras, where the president tried to regulate American companies dominating the banana industry. A powerful American businessman, known as Sam the Banana Man, used his private army to attack the government. When the conflict escalated, the U.S. government pressured the Honduran president to resign, allowing Sam to install a leader favorable to his business interests. This pattern of intervention continued, with the U.S. emerging as a global superpower by the 1950s. By 1953, the U.S. targeted Iran, where Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh sought to nationalize the country's oil reserves, then controlled by a British company. The U.S. and Britain conspired to remove Mossadegh. Through propaganda and orchestrated protests, Mossadegh was forced to resign, and a pro-Western Shah was installed. However, this intervention sowed the seeds for the 1979 Iranian Revolution, which transformed Iran politically and culturally, turning it into a U.S. adversary. In 1954, the U.S. applied a similar strategy in Guatemala, where a democratically elected prime minister sought to limit the influence of American companies monopolizing the country's resources. The CIA supported retired soldiers and private militias, spreading fake news about a revolution through a covert radio station. The pressure forced the Guatemalan president to resign, after which the U.S. installed a puppet leader. This coup plunged Guatemala into political instability, assassinations, and unrest, consequences that persist to this day. The content shared on the World Crisis YouTube channel is intended solely for educational and informational purposes. The channel is not responsible for the accuracy, reliability, or validity of the information presented. Viewers are encouraged to independently verify facts and consult reliable sources. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of the channel or its creators.